Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Justin. This video will be the stock market tone for the week. We're going to start with reviewing ES and NASDAQ's price action, and then we'll dive into scanning the weekly, daily time frames of the ETFs and industries. Next, we'll go through some strong moves because we had a bunch of earnings this week and some poor reactions as well. Then we'll go through the weekly and daily commodities, and that'll be it with the currencies finishing it off. So for ES, we had a very strong week last week, and one second, let me pull up my smaller camera. Okay, that should be good. One second. Okay, alright, let me move that down there. There we go. So, ES this week, Monday, we had a little dip, and overall this was a solid week of digestion. We didn't get any aggressive moves to the upside or the downside, and we've built a little bit of a range. So, not healthy, not unhealthy. I wouldn't say it's the best bullish price action because a lot of these big names in their earnings had quite poor reactions, but we'll get into that soon. So ES today, we're just building a range, and we continue to get tighter and tighter around that 4350 and 4400 area. That's where we're coiling, and I'm very intrigued to see what happens next week. I'll be in Florida, but I'm still doing the work, still treating my weekend as if I would be trading next week, because that's how you build that experience. Let's check out the NASDAQ, and, spot on with the ES, doing the exact same thing. It's because the big names of the NASDAQ are carrying the entire market, so they kind of mimic each other often. So now, one second. Let's hop into the ETFs, and we'll go through a bunch of daily and weekly charts and kind of get a grasp on how the industries have been doing recently. One second, let me get that going. So we'll start off with the Russell, and the small caps, it looked like we had a flat top base to break out, and then we just rejected and had a couple down weeks. So interested to see how this IWM price action, do we hold the bottom side of the range around like 205, 207, or do we lose that range and go lower? Because under that 205, 207 area, this thing hasn't been under that area in months. So very interested. The diamonds, still holding a nice flat top. That's nice to see. That strong price action. The semiconductors, strong price action. Even with Amazon and a few other stocks reacting poorly to earnings, AMD had a great time this week. So the semis are showing some strength. USL, which is the oil ETF, and on the weekly, we're kind of flagging. We'll see if we can get above that little flat top, but my thoughts would be that we continue to range, and the more weeks that something bases, the stronger the move. But anything could happen. The thing is, on the daily, we've been up for almost 2 weeks on USL, so you don't want to expect extended stocks to continue to go higher. Usually extended tickers, they meet resistance and they pull back. XLE, which is the energy sector, pretty ugly. Nothing there. Ethereum, so Bitcoin and Ethereum, they bottomed last week, but you can't call it a bottom. They held that 15 spot. We'll see what happens in the next few weeks, but for me, I expect another retest of that area, and I wouldn't be shocked if we hold it again, but I do expect another retest. XLF financial sector, not looking too shabby. We've built a range over 1 to about 7 weeks, kind of between the 35 and 36 spot. XLC, look at this trend. This is, I believe, the communication ETF. Look at that trend. We are just forming a nice channel, and until we break that channel, I expect XLC to continue trending higher. XLP, which is the consumer staples, not bad price action. Truly, I think, we're up six weeks in a row. I expect some more ranging. We might pull back to that 70 level, but healthy chart. XLRE, which is the home builders real estate ETF. Very nice channel. It's going to trend higher unless that channel loses its areas. XLI, which is the industries, I don't even know what XLI is, the International Industry ETF. This thing is forming a nice bull flag on the weekly. We'll look for that trend line to break. XLK, Technology ETF, trending higher. It broke out of a key area at 144. We'll see what happens. I think it could, flag a little bit up here, or we could retest that 144 prior breakout zone. XLV, Healthcare ETF, very nice trend. Channel. Already went through SPX, XLU, International Utilities. Look at this. This is the type of chart you must keep your eyes on. XLU, over months of consolidation, forming higher lows, and we have a trend line to break. Keep your eye on that trend line, XLU. XLY, Consumer Discretionary, nice channel. I think it trends higher. We'll see what happens. The Qs went through. IWO, IWO is essentially the Russell, but the growth stocks of the Russell. It's in a range. I think it's going to stay in that range for a while. Wood, which is lumber, kind of ranging. Wouldn't be shocked to see that 83 zone be retested. TNX, the treasuries, that's down for weeks and weeks. It seems like this prior breakout area at 11.5 wants to hold. We'll see what happens. 11.5 on TNX is key. VIX, downtrend channel, but when the market gets rocky, you could go long VIX. Just, you don't want to be holding something without a solid plan. PLLL, so physical palladium, interesting. Looks pretty healthy. You see what happens often in the market. We break out beautifully, and then we retest that breakout. So honestly, we have a trend line right here, down channel into support. Palladium, the odds say we're just going to hold this 243 zone and push higher. I'm not a fortune teller. That's just what the probabilities say. This is the Commodities ETF, USCI. A nice bull flag. Commodities are showing strength. PDCE, it's holding that prior breakout zone. I wouldn't be shocked to see it climb back up to 50 slowly. JO Coffee, wow. Coffee just broke out huge through that 46 area. Amazing. And now we're kind of, when stocks get extended, they pull back. That makes sense. We'll see where coffee holds, honestly. I wouldn't touch it. Unless you get that breakout entry, you don't want to be chasing entries. Cow, which is the one second. Brain fart, I'm just going to skip it. It's I can't recall the word. The dollar, so we had that strong bounce through the 90 area, and now we're consolidating. Nothing much, but it's always important to understand what the dollar's doing. XRT, retail showing strength, ranging. Nothing crazy going on in retail. XOP, consumer discretionary. We already went through another one of that. I'm going to take that off. XBI, which is the biotech ETF. Looks like we might be heading lower, but we do have a large area of support. You see this prior breakout area at 120, 125. Under 120, XBI could go lower. TAN solar. Solar's interesting. The chart doesn't look great, kind of looks choppy, but the fundamentals behind solar I do like. SLX steel ETF showing strength, breaking out of that downtrend on increasing volume. Keep your eye on the steel ETF, that looks great. Jets, nothing doing, choppy chart, that's the airlines ETF. IVW, growth, quite extended. I think we need some basing, maybe a high type flag. IGV, expanded tech software. Yeah, let's see a pullback back to that zone that we broke out of. That's what I call the pop out of the box setup. When you pop out of a strong level, you don't want to chase unless you get that accurate entry, but you can take an entry on a pullback. Just has to be lower volume. Okay. Gold looks pretty good. If you're enjoying any of this, learning like individual ways to analyze a chart, everyone has their own vision, their own opinions based off a chart, but the price, the trends, the channels, the ranges, the volume, that's what I'm about. I like the statistical data that is proven to give you results where you can manage your risk to reward, position size properly, and ride trends in a way where you let your winners grow larger than your losers. You have, me personally, I like anywhere from a 1 to a 4% stop loss on my swings. I'm still learning, trying to get into more of a position trading in my Roth IRA. Right now I'm more of a shorter term swing trader, but that's the best thing about the market is you can't stay in one little realm. You must be learning and trying to improve your system. Let's hop into, so if you like anything, drop me a like, a comment, and anything that specifically interests you or intrigues you. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and drop me a subscription if you enjoy. Thank you. So now let's review some strong moves of the earnings from the prior week. We got pins on the weekly. We got absolutely smacked, and that just a giant gap down. We'll go to the daily to see the huge gap from the 70 spot all the way to 58.6. And I assume that's because COVID had everyone inside baking, sitting on Pinterest, but now with summer coming out and weather being enjoyable, less people are on Pinterest. That's just like a assumption. But the data is right in front of us. Pinterest, it didn't do that well. Amazon, surprising. This one actually surprised me a bit. Not like the end of the world. The chart doesn't look broken. But you see, we had a gap down from 36.60 all the way to 33.20. That's a big move. So to just internalize what is going on when some of the bigger, more important names aren't doing so well with their earnings, it gives you a little bit of a cautious vibe. Tilray, small gap down, nothing crazy. Betting on earnings, it's not a way to make a lot of money, but if you're up on a longer term trade and you have that cushion, then it's worth it. You do your due diligence, and if you have a big cushion, you might be okay risking that cushion, riding out, earnings after earnings after earnings, getting a very long trending winner. PayPal, continuous, same result, got smacked. Then we go to QCOM, and that's where you notice, okay, we actually had a stock with a positive earnings reaction. So it's not all negative. It's good to get the tone that the market's telling you. Now we'll hop into the commodities. This is BZ, which is Brent crude. Looks very bullish, breaking out of a trend line. The volume is just insane in this trend that tells you that crude has the potential to continue higher. Went through ES already. Gold. This looks good. You see, we have a break of a long-term trend line, and now we retest the trend line, forming a channel. So I don't have any position in gold, but it's a very nice way to hedge against uncontrolled environments. GF, which is feeder cattle. Kind of a choppy chart. We got a false breakout of the high type flag, but we are holding that breakout area. So keep your eye, see if feeder cattle can hold above that area, or if we do drop back down into that high type flag. Wow, lean hog got brutally smacked. That's rough. HG copper futures acting okay, kind of a messy chart, not a position. HO, which is heating oil, forming a nice upwards channel. Volume is there. This thing has potential to trend higher for sure, heating oil. KE, which is wheat. Wheat is quite rangy, and I don't love it, but it does have room to that 716 Bollinger Band. Natural gas, look at this aggressive uptrend. So we broke out of a flat top. Now what I could see is if we do fail to hold that channel, let's look for a retest of that prior breakout area. Platinum, forming a nice trend line. Let's see if we can get out of that trend line area. This is, that was palladium. This one is platinum. PA is palladium. Platinum, doesn't look too good. Honestly, has room lower. We'll see what happens. Don't want to jump the gun. Silver in this huge channel. Really, it is a messy chart. You don't, unless there's no trade in the short or intermediate term until this channel is taken out. Long term, sure, have a long term investment in silver. TN, 10-year treasury, trending higher, has a nice solid channel. We'll see what happens. No real prediction for that one. It's more of a messier chart. VXM, the volatility, the solid downtrend when the market's trending higher. ZB, what is ZB? Oh, okay. A lot of these I don't even put too much importance to, because the 10-year is important, but the 5 to 30, they're kind of just noise, unless a real market situation is occurring. So we've got soybean futures holding that range, but if we do lose this range on soybean, I wouldn't be shocked to see a downtrend occur. ZN, no, we don't need that. Gasoline, look at this tight channel. Looks very good. I like that channel. Just, wait until we break out of there. The NAS went through already. Went through the wheat. ZR rough rice. Messy chart. Nothing doing on that. ZO oats. Aggressive. Very aggressive. Well, my expectations for oats is we'll consolidate further and digest, tighten up. Maybe a volume contraction pattern by Mark Minervini. So coin futures. we had that breakout area at 555. We'll see what happens. ZM, soybean meal futures. I would not be shocked to see this head lower. Looks similar to a few other charts. ZL, soybean futures. Silver. What do we got? DC. Milk. Wow, milk that's interesting. Very interesting. So here's a little quote that I absolutely love. Think about it. If a rule is immoral, it is immoral to obey it. Listen to your inner self. And back to Germany, when that whole terrible environment occurred, it was based and driven off of immoral rules. The people were just the Germans were just following their job, doing their job, listening to orders. But the rules were immoral, and I wasn't there, but just something to internalize. Don't follow rules that go against your inner self and your inner being. Lastly, let's go through the currencies and wrap up this market tone video. Bitcoin, surprising, we had that bear flag or bullish wedge, whatever you want to consider it, and look what happened. We got a pop of the trend line, and that's why it's important not to be too biased. You have a plan and you act the plan. Bitcoin looks like it's going to go higher. I would expect some digestion, some consolidation. Yeah. What is this? Australian dollar. We have a little bit of a downwards channel. Let's see what happens when this channel breaks. Until then, I wouldn't be putting your money on the line. The euro versus the dollar. Very similar to that Australian. Very similar to the euro and the dollar. The currency pairs are a bit confusing, but it's important to internalize what's going on with all the currencies in the whole world. So the euro and the dollar, they all are in that same channel. So just wait for a break of that channel. This prior breakout area should serve as support. So around that spot, I wouldn't be shocked to see a bullish break, kind of like what happened with Bitcoin. We got euro dollar futures trending higher. British pound futures more bullish. You see, we kind of had that wedge channel and we're popping out. So that might be hinting at the other currencies that those channels will follow the same routine. Canadian dollar, similar. It looks like we're breaking out of that. Yeah, that's bullish for sure, the Canadian dollar. Japanese yen. If you are not updated on what happened to Japan's economy, definitely spend some time. Watch a few videos on the history of Japan's economy. Very interesting, and it's a sign that when banks get too out of control, bad things may occur. Got the Brazilian, what is that? Real, it's called, okay. It's consolidating. Look at this nice consolidation. Mexican peso, very nice. Same downwards channel. What do we got here? Swiss franc, pretty bullish, showing some more strength compared to most of the currencies. So if you enjoyed anything, I appreciate anyone tuning in. I love to hear constructive criticism, things that you liked, but things that I might be able to improve to make the whole experience and just make my way of speaking and getting information out more clear and enjoyable. So thank you so much. Drop me a like. Any comments, any thoughts, they're appreciated. Thank you so much. I'll be dropping a focus list and watch list video around Sunday later this weekend. Enjoy your day.